Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have another fascinating guest with me today. I have with me Simon, and he's from the Library of Gnosis. He speaks on a lot of like esoteric and occult topics. He gets into like Gnostic stuff and like ancient, just really cool ancient writings and stuff like that. He knows a lot more than me, so I'm gonna be kind of trying to I'm trying to keep up with him this episode, but I really want to learn this stuff. So it's a really pleasure to have you on the show, Simon, and thank you for coming on. How are you?
Pleasure's all mine. Yeah, I'm great.
So,
Kicking lights ass.
yeah, where did you want to start today? What did you want to start off with?
I think the best place to start is in the past, right? So I want to be talking about something that's called Prisca Theologia. It translates like ancient theology. And
Okay.
it's the idea that all religions spring from a common source of primordial, like ancient theology. That would be like the true theology of the true idea of our past, and so on and so forth. So that's why we find so many similarities within different religions. It's almost like they're drawing upon the same source, so to speak. And I have a Bible quote here. This is something that what the censors left in the Bible. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders? Exodus 15:11. So you can see here it's talking about multiple gods. It's not just one God. The ancient Israelites, they used to be polytheistic, meaning they worshipped multiple gods. But then the cult of Yahweh won over. And Yahweh is an interesting character. In the oldest scriptures, we have oldest texts and so on and so forth. We have of him, place him as a war and storm deity, kind of like Zeus.
Do you think Yahweh was Zeus? I mean, I know, like, I don't know if you've ever looked into the work of Gerald Clark. I mentioned him to you. I was a big fan of his. He wrote the books, The Anunnaki of Nibiru and the Seventh Planet Mercury Rising. He was on the thought that like Yahweh was Enlil, and that was also Zeus. Do you feel the same, or do you think that those characters correlate?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the same characters from different cultural views. And I think Jupiter, of course, as well, the same as Yahweh and same as Enlil. It seems to be the same character.
Yeah, one of the things that Gerald pointed out, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, was that there's like the main figure of the three main religions, which is Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. That's just Abram. He's like the patriarch of all those religions. Well, supposedly Abram's father, Terah, was a chief priest in the city of Ur, and the god that he was a chief priest for was Enlil. So I just find that interesting. I'm not sure if that's accurate or if it's for certain. I'm not sure if that's something Gerald got from Sitchin or because if it comes from Sitchin, I'm kind of like, I mean, because it's like I like to read the other translations as well, but so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I can understand. It's really hard to interpret the past.
Yeah, because we have stuff from coming from like so many different sources, right? You know what I mean? So like it's hard to
It's a puzzle.
yeah, it is for sure. Oh, I think Priscilla just joined us. Oh, she's trying to join. Hey,
Greetings.
you're muted.
Greetings. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Simon. He's from the Library of Gnosis, and he's kind of doing a presentation, and we're kind of just I'm interacting with him. But
Perfect.
Sorry, but I didn't mean to get you off track, Simon. Where were you at?
I think it's time we step into my idea of what the savior is.
Okay.
And one of my favorite gods is Thoth from Egyptian mythology. And Thoth was said to have created himself through the power of language, exactly like Jesus is said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. One of Jesus' titles is the Logos, and Thoth's role in the pantheon was as a heavenly scribe and as the voice of Ra. You see there the Logos, it ties back in there.
That's interesting.
That's Thoth covered. I'm gonna be covering a vast variety of different gods, who I think are the same character where we're reading it from. So 1 Enoch, Book of Parables, presents 2 figures, the Son of Man and Enoch. At first, they seem to be separate entities. Enoch views the Son of Man enthroned in heaven. Later, however, they prove to be one and the same. So I'm tying in Enoch here as well. And what makes Enoch so special? Well, he's one of the few characters in the Bible who entered heaven alive. I don't know if there was anyone else except for Jesus who entered heaven alive in the Bible.
But didn't Moses go up to heaven as well, or supposedly, or something like that? Or was that Enoch?
I don't know. I can't talk on it. I'm not sure. I know Enoch did.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about Moses.
He
might have.
Gerald gets into work where he said that Enoch, the birth of Noah was interesting. They say that like Noah was like white haired with like shining eyes. So Enoch's or someone went to Enoch. They say he was with. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Like
his grandson.
Yeah, his grandson went to the gods, and he was like who's this child that I was born? He thought that he went to Enoch, and Enoch was supposedly with the gods or something like that. Do you know this story?
But Noah is Enoch's grandson. That's what I meant. And Enoch is Metatron. He's the only one with Sandalphon that have been changed into archangels, humans.
Yes. Yeah. I was just about to say that. He evolved.
No, it's okay. That's why I wanted you to join us, because like you're really smart and you know this stuff, Priscilla. So thank you.
Well, there we go. He was transfigured into the angel of Metatron. I have the quote. This Enoch, whose flesh was turned to flame, his veins to fire, his eyelashes to flashes of lightning, his eyeballs to flaming torches, and whom God placed on a throne next to the throne of glory, received after his heavenly transformation the name Metatron. That's from 3 Enoch.
Yeah. He's the only one that can stay seated also when God enters a room or something. You know, he's a scribe, so really? He's allowed to stay seated. Yeah, Metatron.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So further going with Metatron here, he was said he was called the Lesser Yahweh, and the ancient Israelites worshipped him 10 days out of the year. He was so important to them that they worshipped him almost like a god. Mm-hmm. And what's ties into Jesus here is that he was said to be the closest soul to God, Metatron. And who's the closest soul to God? If you ask a Christian, I mean,
they say it's Jesus, right?
Of course. So there we have that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel that they're archetypes of each other, you know, like these beings.
You mean like they're the same being? Like they're the same?
Well, they're aspects, you know, they're different emanations from different times and different parts of their own evolutions, you know.
But do you think it could be the same soul incarnating into a different being?
Well, ultimately, we're all emanating from the one. So you know, and there's the 7 also, you know, rays. So
yeah. Sorry, Simon, wherever you were going with that.
What one idea I have, I want to tie in Mercury as well. He is like Thoth and Enoch. And what is the closest, if we say that Mercury is the closest soul to God, Mercury, Metatron, whatever name, then where was I? Then what is the closest? If we look at the Kepler looked at the solar system as an image of God, and the sun was the Father, and the intervening space was the Holy Spirit, and I guess the planets or the sun or whatever. And what is the closest planet to the sun, if the sun is the Father? What is the closest planet?
It's Mercury.
Do you know? Mercury. Yeah, exactly. As above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
It's reflected there.
To me, the Mercury, Thoth, Hermes, even Archangel Raphael, they're all the emerald ray, you know, they're all the magician, healer, you know, archetype showing us things. So also others, you know, but most of these ones.
The one I think the Gnostics cover the serpent in the garden a lot. It's an important topic there for Gnostics. They saw the serpent as a savior figure. In some texts he's Jesus. And this, I'm not an alchemist myself, but I do study it quite a bit. And in alchemy, the serpent, the symbol of the serpent, is what is used for Mercury. So I think it was Mercury who was in that garden and was talking to God.
Well, it could have been Enki as well, because they say that that there's some texts that say that Enki was, or Thoth was Enki's son, and that if you read like Wars of the Gods by Chris Hardy, her name is, she writes about Enki's wisdom lines, and then she talks about the serpent knowledge that it was passed down from Enki to Thoth, and like that they created these wisdom lines in mystery schools. You know what I mean? I don't know, because it's so hard to prove anything. It's just like theories, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. But then it's interesting because you see, like they say Thoth went to Mexico or Mesoamerica, right? And that's where he continued. Yeah. He was Quetzalcoatl there. And when you see that in the designs, like the pyramids, like, you know, I have it on one of my things, Chichen Itza on the equinox, it has the serpent going down the pyramid. You know what I mean? And it's not just there, it's everywhere. That serpent knowledge is everywhere. It's almost like it was, and then also it seems like it was deviated because it's almost like they didn't want us to know about it. So they've like hidden from it, and they've like corrupted the serpent. Whereas the serpent can be a benevolent thing. It could be a wisdom, knowledge.
It's the knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending
on agree with that, Priscilla?
Absolutely. And what he said also is very relevant to me, like Jesus and, you know, like the light bearer, the morning star, Lucifer, you know, the aspects, they're like two sides of the same coin to me, even before I even studied anything, you know, like to me, it was, I knew this already. So yeah, absolutely. And you know, like Enki, Prometheus, you know, all these ones that you said, which ones did we mention?
Thoth, Mercury,
Thoth, Ningishida, you know,
Ningshita. Yeah, he was Ningshita as well in the Sumerian tablets, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's all the same being, presenting itself through time, you know, different aspects and different moments, and even them they evolve. So it's like, yeah.
Well, there was Gerald took it even a step further. He thought that this being like incarnated through different bodies. He thought that Thoth was also like Buddha, Mercury, Jesus, and he thought that this being was like sent throughout time to like help mankind. And where he got that from was Hermes' conversation with Poimander, because he thought, you know, Thoth was Hermes as well. And supposedly when Thoth has that, or Hermes has that conversation with Poimander, who's supposedly like the universal consciousness, he tells Hermes that he's supposed to help mankind throughout time. So I think that's where Gerald got that idea from. I'm not sure. Again, I can't prove any of this. So
and
this
also the intertwined serpents with the caduceus, that's the serpent.
Yeah,
also.
the medical, that's our medical symbol too, right?
Yeah, and it's the symbiosis of the brains also, the brain synchronicity, help me here, symbiosis, I think they call it, so that it connects. So it's all connected. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Here in this Bible verse from John, Jesus is compared to the serpent. Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. John 3:14. So we see they're connecting the serpent there with Jesus. And then we come to probably I think I like this character more than Thoth, to be honest. And that is Hermes, the divine trickster out of the bunch.
Yeah.
He was called, one of his titles was Hermes Kriophoros, which means the ram bearer, or translated as the good shepherd. And I mean, Jesus literally says in the text, I am the good shepherd. Whoever believes in me, blah, 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 blah. So
the sacrificial lamb also, they call him, right? Like he's also like Jesus, I think. Like he's coming here as, to not sacrifice himself. Well, yeah, but I mean to show us, like he's getting problems for that, with everything here. So it's all symbolism.
It's like metaphoric. Yeah. It's like right.
Yeah, for sure.
But why did they call Hermes the divine trickster, do you think? Like, because I'm interested in that.
Well, he has trickster-like qualities to him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna, like Lucifer, teaches you through problems.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And what's so interesting about when you read it, I can almost not believe it. Do you know what Hermes' mother's name was? Maya. It's literally one letter difference from Maria. So it's almost the same name, which I found interesting.
I did not know that. That's so interesting.
Yeah. And he like Jesus, Hermes has a heavenly father and an earthly mother. We have the mother Mary, and then we have God, which in this case would be Zeus. But I'm not sure about the Zeus connection there. For in Egyptian texts, sometimes the creator deity, creator of all, is Thoth. So we can't really place. I can't really place his father. I say it's the son, but that's just the symbolic representation of God, like what it represents: power, warmth.
The logos, the sun, our sun, bringer of life, bringer of light. It's the same thing. It's really like all the same things shown to us differently. It's real. That's what I really am starting to understand. All the gods, all the religions, everything. It's all just showing us the same thing in different ways, different times. And when you say the text, the Egyptian text, like they present Thoth as being the creator. Well, maybe it's like interpretations of the peoples of these specific texts. It's always like they're written by humans, right? So we need to like try and see sometimes what they meant, or how they were seeing it, or what kind of doctrine they were into really, deeply. And it's always like this, it's always like fluctuating a little bit around the same things though. But the sun and the logos and the light bringer and the light is like information also, it's data, so it's like all linked.
Yeah, that makes I like that. That makes sense.
Well, we'll get into that topic eventually more. I have something else planned. But you mentioned this before. We have Hermes Caduceus, which is the medical symbol now used for hospitals. And that, of course, has two serpents. Here we have serpent symbology again. So the symbol of the caduceus is there, seems to be there for healing. So it's like the serpent seems to represent healing or wisdom, I think.
Yeah.
Then Hermes was the messenger of the gods. So he was a master of rhetoric. Like the first thing he did when he got caught was started lying. That's the trickster aspect there. He lied to Zeus that he hadn't stolen Apollo's cattle.
So it just shows you like that these demigods also had flaws as well. You know what I mean? It's like they weren't perfect. I find that really interesting.
It makes them very real to us.
Yeah.
We can relate to them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. They hold really certain traits, you know, of all the archetypes that we embody also. So it's really, they are really specific in their ways.
So it makes me think, were they just somebody just that was really intelligent just writing these and trying to teach humanity about their own flaws and traits, like that they recognized already? Or do you think these demigods actually existed?
I think something came up for me, and that was that they found, I'll get back to the question, they found the tomb of Gilgamesh. You've heard of Gilgamesh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love the story. It's an amazing read. It's but they, you know, I talk about that they found the tomb of Gilgamesh, but like what's more interesting is how like Gilgamesh like connects to the Atrahasis, because in Gilgamesh he meets who we know of as Noah, but that's actually Atrahasis, right? And Atrahasis tells him that he was the only one given immortality by the gods. So you see in that like that connects to the Atrahasis, which, and then that also you find Gilgamesh's name on the Sumerian kings list. Okay. And then also, but then the Atrahasis also connects to the Enuma Elish. So I feel like those four things are like main reads about our history, like which is the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis, the Sumerian kings list, and the Enuma Elish. They're like essential because they're like showing you that this all could be very real. And then when you bring in the fact that they found Gilgamesh's tomb, that makes me think that it all might be real to a certain degree. Like they always say there's always some lies and truth, and there's always truth and lies. So that's why I say it's so hard to figure out like what. Oh, sorry, there's a loud motorcycle outside my apartment, but it's always so hard to tell like what's real. I guess we have to take what resonates with us though. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the fact that Gilgamesh's father was 2/3 god, I think, or half god or something, and his mother was also a goddess. So he was a Nephilim, like men of renown, heroes of old, as they say in the Bible. And he was, from depictions of him holding a lion, he was said to be around 5 meters tall or something.
What is that, 10 feet? And here in English, I would guess he was probably like a 10 to 13 foot tall. Like, you know, because
that's more like 30.
30 feet?
One meter is 3 feet. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So not a little guy.
Yeah, 15. Sorry.
15. That's still huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Some people say that, you know what I find interesting? Like some people say that like all these megalithic sites and stuff were built by giants, which I think that's kind of like a rudimentary way to like say that they were built. I think it was done something a lot more intricately. I think it was done with like sound and like things that we can't even imagine. Like, you know, like those pyramid blocks on the Great Pyramid, they're like a ton, they're like multiple tons. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even think a giant could have lifted those, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think those structures were built between the megalithic sites and the ancient pyramids. Like, I think it was done with technology that we can't even fathom right now. You know, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think just saying that it was giants really doesn't answer anything.
Yeah,
I bet there were giants. So
no, I do. I believe there were giants, and I believe there's like a lot of truth to the flood story, because you find the flood story in a lot of different cultures. It's all over the world. Every world has a flood. I mean, every country around the world has a flood story. You know.
And also it was technology, but it's also like consciousness, because when they say masters of light, what is a master of light? Light is photons. Photons become particles when they're observed. So these beings, their consciousness is they're able to interact with the field, like with the elements and everything. So I guess that with sound and certain abilities and maybe tech also, they can move stuff, like move mountains, like Jesus said, right?
Yeah.
It's all together, I think.
And also, I want to say I'm glad you brought that up, Priscilla. I think it's a really good point, because I think that we're starting to come back into these abilities now. I think like we're at a time in humanity where like people are starting, like you're a good example of it. Like you're starting to tap into your abilities, and like you're able to do stuff, like you were able to heal me, and you're able to like do some amazing stuff. So I just feel like a lot of people, that's happening to a lot of people. So I feel like humanity is coming into their gifts that we've lost over time, if that makes any sense. And that, I didn't mean to go off on a different subject. That wasn't, but sorry, Simon. Sometimes I guess that's what happens on podcasts, though. They go all, different places, but
it's great. A natural flowing conversation, natural.
Yeah.
Directed chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why Hermes is so important is that he is a god of liminality. He kind of goes in the middle, on the tree of life. Mercury, I can't remember the Sephiroth, is on the left side of the tree of life, Kabbalistic tree of life, and the left side is female. So why is a male placed there? You see, he can play both roles. He has the feminine and the masculine equally like balanced. And if you think in a yin and yang symbol, you can think of Hermes' role as Mercury, as this S silver lining, and in between chaos and order. He's this god of liminality that gets us.
It's interesting, Simon. Somebody told me that the word hermaphrodite is basically just Hermes and Aphrodite, man and woman.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Sephiroth. It's Netzach. I'm not super good to pronounce it. Okay, and it's number 7. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't even know. I just looked it up. Yeah.
Wait, what is that, Priscilla? Can you repeat that? I don't understand.
The Sephiroth on the Kabbalah tree that he was talking about, he said he didn't know the name. It's Netzach, 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 and it's number 7. I don't know if you can see it.
Does that mean angel? I'm trying to. You can share your screen if you want.
You see it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It's interesting. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure what relates to Mercury on the Sephiroth.
But that's the one. That's the one I just showed you.
It is. Is it? But that looked like it was on the right side.
Well, we on the Iverdid because it's the phone. We're like 2 screens. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, I was right. Screen. It is on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh no, you're right. I think. Hold on. I'll go back to that.
That's what I've been told, at least.
Well, that's the one I drew. That's me that drew this. It's my my notes. So I'm just gonna go look again. Oops. Sorry, I don't mean to make you wait here. So on mine, the severity is on the left, and mercy is on the right, and he's on the right with the mercy on the 7th.
That would be male. I think you've got the wrong Sephiroth. I don't know if it's the Sephiroth that correlates with Mercury, the planet. It might be different.
It's Kabbalah. I don't know.
Well, not an expert on Kabbalah. Something I picked up.
Okay.
Okay, it's interesting. I don't know much about Kabbalah either, though. I want to learn though. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's all related, like I said, you know.
Yeah.
So why this thing about him being the god of balance, like another figure? Have you heard of Abraxas?
Yeah, the chicken snake god.
Yeah, he is also like a deity that's above good and evil. He was said to be the judge between good and evil. Like they needed a third party to judge what was, you know.
And Abraxas is where you get the abracadabra, you know, the magic spell.
I
It's
like
true.
that.
No, it's true. It's where you get it. It's not. I'm not joking.
That's interesting. It's so interesting to see how all this stuff correlates, you know? Like I find this fascinating.
Yes. This gets us into the squaring of the circle. It is the challenge of constructing a square with the area of a circle by using only a finite number of steps with compass and straight edge. And the symbol, the squaring of the circle, it is impossible to do, because to square the circle, to calculate the area of a circle, I think you use radius times pi, radius squared times pi. And because pi is a transcendental number, meaning that it's infinite, it never ends, you can never get a perfect square or circle. So it represents doing the impossible, which describes the nature of God. God is the creator who creates himself. He does the impossible. Like Thoth, he spoke himself into existence. He did the impossible. And that, of course, relates to Jesus as well.
Yeah, I didn't know
Fully
that.
man.
Thoth, you know, Thoth spoke himself into. I didn't know that, and that's really like it's stunning to me, because like they say in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was from God, and blah blah blah. You know, it's amazing.
It is. I guess it depends on like what like myth you want to believe and stuff. Like, you know, like if Thoth was Enki's son, if he was, then like does that mean Enki created himself as well? Or like all the Anunnaki, do you think they all like they could be like higher angels or something like that?
I think what the Bible calls angels, they used to call gods. They got demoted to angels instead of gods. But it's the same stories.
So it's really
in
like
the Bible.
These angels are our creators, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm thinking. That's why they're depicted as humanoids. That's why, because they were created. Let's create them in our image.
Our image, yeah.
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 Our image.
Absolutely.
And the
I agree.
Elohim, which is they translate it as God, but it's supposed to be translated as God.
Yeah, Elohim is plural, absolutely. And it's like I said, like the seven rays, the archangels, the seven gods, the seven planets, the seven chakras, the seven colors, you know, it's really, really that.
I think that's why Gerald made his book, The Seventh Planet Mercury Rising. There's a lot in that, you know, and it was about Thoth, you know, but he called it The Seventh Planet Mercury Rising, like, which is, you know, seven, Mercury, Thoth. It's all, you know, it's all related.
And another thing that links Jesus to Hermes is that Jesus was crucified next to what? Two thieves. And what was Hermes? He was the god of thieves. So it symbolically connects him there with thieves. Behold, I come like a thief. A blessed is the one who stays awake, keeping his garments. On that may he not go about naked and be seen exposed. Revelation 16:15. So that's another comparison there with thieves.
I wonder what he's referring to when he says like not going outside naked, not to be exposed. It's not talking about his body, of course. I'm thinking maybe his abilities, his divinity, like not to show everyone because they're gonna crucify you if you tell everyone what you know and stuff, like you think maybe that'd be about what he's talking about? Like to be careful,
Like,
you know?
but he's like to go. I think they're saying he means like to go without knowledge, to be naked, to be, because when you're naked, you're exposed. You don't want to be exposed without knowledge. I think something like
Okay,
that.
yeah, it could be like that too.
It could be both.
Mhm.
I guess it's how you interpret it, right? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
It's
everybody sees it different, and every interpretation is our own, we just link up to talk
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
But I think it's good to like talk about this stuff because like it stimulates the mind and it like yeah.
What do you think?
Simon.
I forgot Simon, sorry.
Well, it seems like not go about be naked and seen exposed. It seems like a lack of knowledge, like being unprepared for something.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So enough about the topic of Jesus. What about hell? What is hell? So I want to read a Bible quote here. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Matthew 10:28. So this explains it. This is what hell is. It's the destruction of your soul. It's not eternal punishment. The eternal punishment is death, permanent death. You won't reincarnate again. You'll be like a part of the monad, I think, like source consciousness. When that's going to hell, you burn up and your soul is consumed.
Losing your consciousness. Yeah, losing your ability to be self-aware.
Yeah. So I guess the atheists are right. It's the end for them when they
That's funny. Yeah. But no, I mean, like, well, what do you think, Simon? Do you think we reincarnate over and over again, or do you think we this is one and done?
I think we reincarnate again and again.
I do too. That really resonates with me.
Yeah, there's so many stories of people remembering their past lives, and
well, I've had
they've
like
been
7.
able to prove.
Yeah, I've had 7 past life regressions done. And I mean, like I'm a little bit skeptical, but I still felt like there was like a lot of truth in them as well. Because I just tend to be a lot more skeptical about everything. But I mean, there was a lot, and Priscilla she does past life regressions, so she knows a lot about it. But yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you could talk about it a little bit, Priscilla.
Yeah, sure. I believe that as higher souls, we decide what we really want to experience as in densities and as in so we have cycles, and we come here to experience certain things, and when we're done, I think we go to other worlds, there's other places, other bodies and other physics, like other experiences with other abilities, and it's endless. It doesn't stop. It's like when you're done that part, you're gonna go there. It's like an amusement park, kind of, because when you're infinite, you're like, okay, so what do we do now? Like this is getting boring. So you want to find new things, or you keep on creating and keep on evolving and changing all the time. So we're all in different places in our cycles as emanations, of sparks that are experiencing, and it's data, it's information we're gathering through our own evolution.
Wait, I got a question. What do you think about the fact that some people say that like we have multiple parts of our soul that are doing that now? And I don't know if you've ever heard people say that, but some people do say that. They say that like there are aspects of our soul, like that our soul is like fragmented, and that there's other parts of ourself experiencing things in other realities, like parallel realities and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. Do you believe that as
Absolutely.
well?
Yeah, I'll explain how I see it. Let's say, okay, right now we're talking, three of us, and all of us, we can think of another moment in our lives and we can kind of live it and feel it and see it and remember it at the same time that we're here, right? Well, as higher beings, we can do that, but multiple places. Like, you know, we're able to navigate it better. So it's like our brains, like me, I can go up to 4. Like when I do the sessions and everything, sometimes I have 4 screens like kind of in my head, you know. But them, it's like bigger. So it's all the same one, but kind of, you know, because ultimately here on earth, we're emanating from the 7 principalities, I think. So from the 7, we all come from, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
downstream and upstream. It's like one splitting and then splitting and splitting and splitting and splitting, like that.
And is that why we have deja vu moments? Like, because those are moments that where we've like experienced other realities?
Yeah, deja vu, there's like different explanations. I think also deja vu can be when you're dreaming, you're kind of planning your day, like, you know, so maybe you plan that part of your day, or it's like a milestone to tell you, yeah, you're okay, you're on the right spot, or you have to notice something there. I think that everything we go through is really to empower us and us for us to pay attention and see what we have to learn or see, and it can be different for each one of us, you know. But ultimately it's from a higher perspective or a subconscious messaging to you, you know, something through that deja vu.
That's interesting. Yeah. So sorry, Simon, go wherever you were at. That was it. We kind of went off on a side note, but that's interesting for sure.
So in Egyptian mythology, they have what is called the weighing of the heart ceremony, where they weigh your heart against a feather, which represents Ma'at, the cosmic harmony. And if your heart is heavier than the feather, which means you've lived a bad life, very, very sinful, and done many evil things, your heart will be heavier than the feather. And then what happens is a goddess called Amit will eat the heart and thereby end your existence.
Is that from the Egyptian Book of the Dead? Is that where that comes from?
Wow.
I don't know. I think
amazing.
It comes from paintings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew this, but I didn't know about the other goddess. What's her name? The one that eats the heart?
Amit.
Amit? No, I didn't know her. That's amazing because, you know, I knew about Mahat, I knew about the weighing of the heart, and, you know, like if you're feeling guilt or shame and stuff like that, that's the heart that's heavy, you know, because of what you did, right? So but I didn't know the part where the other goddess, well, you know, the other aspect of the goddess comes in and, you know, eats the heart to reintegrate into source, like you said before, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's supposed to be the punishment because the underworld was called Arat, and it was a heavenly paradise. So the underworld in Egyptian mythology is a paradise. It's
yeah,
not,
there's the seven. It's 7 worlds, right? It's like the first one is like for the people who didn't take sides, like good or bad. They were just like not taking sides. And then the second one is for the ones that whatever. I think the ones that I would need to look at it again. And then the third one would be like heaven, you know, the perfect place where you absolutely want to go after, and like you're saying, like heavenly and everything. And then like there's different realms, right?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I've heard expressions like seventh heaven, you know, that the Bible speaks about multiple different heavens, but I haven't researched it enough to speak about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind, to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve. Jeremiah 17:10. You see here, he examines the heart. It's describing the after-death process. And from what I've read, what happens when you die is that I've heard from near-death experiences, for example, your astral body starts separating from your physical body, and you start floating up in the sky. And that begins your astral journey, where you travel through our solar system, through the different planets, and each of them has a judge. So it judges your karma. And
wow, that's amazing.
And the planet in charge of the reincarnation process is Saturn.
Yeah.
Which is the god of karma and so forth.
Well, now what's interesting about that is there's like the Saturn cults and the black cube of Saturn. They say that the elites worship, you know. So there's something definitely tied to Saturn. It seems like I know that Ellen King comes on my show and she says that our whole construct is Saturn. And she said Saturn is much more involved than we would even know. And I don't even quite understand that, but like that's what I was told, you know.
I understand it. Saturn is like also a Satan, you know, like they call it, you know, like Saturnalia, Christmas, you know, it's like very, it's very there, even if we don't know.
Okay. Yeah, just look at the Queen's Guard. The colors of Saturn are, of course, with what you're wearing, red and black. Those are the colors of Saturn. And look at the Queen's Guard, red and black. There's obviously they're trying to represent Saturn.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, in the story of Osiris, he has I don't know if it's his brother or something, half brother, Seth, who Seth eventually kills Osiris and throws his body like in 70 different places or whatever. And they have to search it up and find all the parts to put him together. And they missed one thing, and that was the penis. So Thoth taught Isis the secret magical formula to bring Osiris back from the dead. And why this is Thoth's role is because he like not Hermes is a psychopomp, which means it's the guide for the souls in the afterlife.
Yeah, this was also said the souls to the afterlife, right? He's a guide to the afterlife. A psychopomp's a guide to the afterlife, right?
Yeah, and he knew the secrets of life and death. Hermes was said to be one of the only gods who could travel the different planes of existence freely. So of course he would know the secrets of life and over death.
You know what's interesting is like when you read like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth talks about how he has these out of body experiences and he's able to like travel all the realms like pretty freely like that. Like so there again you see like a correlation to like Hermes and Thoth, you know, which I wonder who wrote those Emerald Tablets. I wonder if it was actually Thoth or if it was just someone that was like really highly esoterically knowledgeable, you know, because they never actually found the real Emerald Tablets. You know, they say. Again, I'm skeptical, but I mean, it's. I believe it though. I want to believe, you know.
I think you have like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which is like 7 tablets, I think. Those are like channel material. They're not real historical works.
Yeah, it was written exactly. That's what. Yeah.
But there is an Emerald Tablet.
Yeah,
it's called the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, not Thoth.
Yeah,
and it's a very short and cryptic text. It's a very short and cryptic text. It's not. I thought the Emerald Tablets of Thoth was the real deal from the beginning.
But don't they have it? Don't they have it tablets in a museum? Like
they have one Emerald Tablet, but the Emerald Tablets of Thoth they never found. I mean, they say that, like, if you read the thing, they'll say that Dr. Doriel found them under the Chichen Itza pyramid, but there's no proof to that. And they don't have the actual physical emerald tablets. Like, those are just like channeled, like he said, they're like channeled work. Like, but it could, but there's no proof that they were channeled either. We don't know where they came from. We don't know who wrote them. They say that Thoth wrote them, but we have no proof. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's bizarre, but it's interesting for sure.
Sorry. Yeah, like I said, Saturn is from the Bible is Satan or Moloch. He also goes by the name of Samael, the god of the angel of death.
And Samael is known to be in the seventh heaven, and he's the being with all the eyes. That's Samael. And they said that Moses' soul was to be taken by Samael at the end of his life.
Yes, he's the god of death after all. Saturn is the god of death. And I don't think Satan is like this evil character we have him out to be. Or like, he is evil, but he's doing it on God's permission. He's the adversary, the tester, and the tempter. So we're going through an interview process with God. I form the light. I create evil and good. It's from the Bible. I can't remember the quote exactly, but he says it. And Samael is supposed to be an angel subservient to God. Same with Satan.
Wait, can you say that again? I'm trying to figure that out. What was it again?
Satan is an angel. Satan is an angel subservient to God. Like, he works on.
He's the wrath of God. He's the wrath of God. He's the one that does the bad work. You know, like, he's the one. He's ultimately, all is from the one here. You know, like the good, the bad, and everything in between.
It's duality. Right.
Yeah, Samael, he is his servant. He's the one that's going to do the bad work, you know, like the work, but for God, he's in the seventh heaven. So he's right.
That's interesting. This is all such interesting stuff, Simon. I love it.
Yeah. And like I said, the people who rule this world, they are followers of Saturn.
Yeah.
They're basically Satanists or Molochians.
Yeah. Yes. We see that. There's a lot of evidence of that too. There is, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they have figured out how to transverse the soul into a chosen vessel for them.
Why do you say that?
Why I say that? Because if you look at the bloodlines, they're always in bloodlines. Why is bloodline so important to them? Well, of course, Osiris was reborn in his son Horus, so it's family ties. That's why bloodlines are so important to them, because they reincarnate through bloodlines.
Yeah.
And I think they can recall things from their past lives, like they've mastered, so that they can remember more of their past lives.
Yeah, like transcend the veil of forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they
transfer with their memories, you know, into the other body. Do you think they transfer into like an adult body or like a baby?
A baby.
Okay.
So they're just repeating the whole life cycle over again.
Yeah. That's what I think, at least. I mean, I can't prove it.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting because, you know, like me, I studied a lot of things, different things, you know, like everything. So it's not like something that I've never heard. I've heard this, and it makes a lot of sense. Also, you know, when they talk about all the misinterpretations of everything that they would do and why and everything, and ultimately not to lose your memories and, you know, like to transcend death and to change bodies and to keep your memories would be like being a little bit like a higher being, you know, like I explained that they can navigate, you know, different perspectives at the same time. Really deep, deep stuff.
Yeah.
Something I want to research more is the celestial spheres. I can't really find a travel guide for it. Like what planets does what thing. I only know of Saturn so far. But what does Venus do? What does that have to do with lust or the seven deadly sins? Are those related to the planets?
Well, Venus is also Ishtar, and it's also the morning star, and it could be Lucifer, and it could be Inanna, and it's like archetypes, and it's like yeah, the not the lust,
every
but more
god
of
had
the
their.
attraction, you know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going
No,
to
it's
say
okay.
every god had a planet named after them. You know.
Yeah, and it's really the archetypal like I said, like you know, like Thoth, he has certain trickster attributes. Well, like Venus, it would be like maybe more like a seducer, okay, like seducing, and again, kind of trickster, but it's always lessons, I guess, you know. So it's different types of, yeah.
Like Enki's planet was Neptune, by the way, and
That's the
I
water
know like
world,
and
underworld.
yeah, and then like Nanar Sin, who was Enlil's son, his planet
Mm-hmm.
was the moon. You know, which was why he was like the moon god. And
Yeah,
also they called him Allah, which I find which is weird because like
and Shiva also is the moon god, I think.
yeah, yeah. But that's like a different like I think Shiva's like
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
Egyptian, but it's
it's
Sumerian.
not Egyptian, it's
Oh,
Indian.
Indian.
Hindu,
Yeah,
sorry,
but when
Hindu.
it's all them, it's all the same thing. It's all that you're gonna find the same archetypes in all these religions. That's really what's
It boils
crazy, you
down.
know?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. Mm.
That's interesting.
That's why I like studying all of it, so I can kind of understand it in a you know
Yeah, no, I
360
love it.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can
yeah.
cross reference and
I'm so glad that we decided to do this together today
mhm.
because like you're really bringing out some good information with Simon. Like it really complements everything he's saying. Well, like it's really good.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover, Simon?
No, I'm finished with my list.
Oh,
I
it
had
was
a bit
amazing.
prepared.
I think it's perfect timing because I think yeah, what did you want to tell everybody where they can find you and thank you and
Yeah, they can find me at the Library of Gnosis on YouTube, Spotify, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. I'm basically on
Amazing.
all.
yeah. And Priscilla, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? And
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Priscilla Lapierre, and Facebook, Priscilla Catherine Lapierre. There.
okay. Well, thank you so much again, guys. And yeah, until next time. And thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.